welcome to LawrenceSunshine's YouTube channel. My name is Lisa, and today we thought we'd try something a bit different for you all. And we're going to do a sew along today. So I'm going to make the Helen's Closet Lauren's dress, which I'm really excited about. And I have some really super nice Liberty fabric to show you that I'm going to make it in. But I just thought I'd say a quick hello and tell you what we're going to be doing in this video. And here's my wee helper even. This is Jessie. So she'll probably be making multiple appearances in this video, because she's a wee cutie and she likes to hang out with me. And you probably see my other cat at some point. She's called Baby. She will probably shout at me for some snacks at some point during filming this. So if you hear some meowing and don't see her on screen, that will be her. So I'm going to get to it, and I'm going to show you the fabric that I'm going to be using and the version of the pattern that I'm going to make. And I'm really excited to make this with you guys, and I hope you like following along with me. So the first one I'm going to use is this Betsy print. Let me move that into the camera a bit better for you. And that's going to be for the bodice. I am going to make version B, the longest version. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little card up on the screen with a line drawing of how the finished dress will look with all the fabric prints on it, and I will list all of the names of the fabrics that I've used to make it a bit easy for you to see. But anyway, this is going to be for the bodice, and then this is Betsy Ann, and this is going to be for the first tier. And then we've got Jessie's Jewel, which is going to be for the second tier. And then finally, we've got one of the new prints that we've got in, and this one's called Nectar. And this is going to be for the bottom tier. And what I'm going to do with that one is I'm also going to put that one in the sleeve, and then I'm going to make a belt out of it to kind of bring all the kind of fabrics together. And after lots of deciding and playing about with different colorways, this is the combination that I finally went with. I couldn't pick just one, so I picked 4. Just thought I'd talk you through a little bit of what I've done off camera before I stop for today. We are going to finish this dress tomorrow, but I need to go get my dinner because otherwise you'll be hearing my stomach rumbling very soon. So I decided to line the bodice of this. I was going to line the whole thing, but I did a very scientific test of putting the second tier, I say it's the second tier even though it's the first one after the bodice, first tier, holding that fabric up against my dress because this is quite a dark print in the mirror, and I thought you don't see it enough, and especially because it's so gathered, I'll probably get away with it, and I didn't want to add too much bulk to the rest of the dress because you know the gathers are quite full. Anyway, so I tested the fit of the bodice in the lining, and that was great because I could check that my pattern adjustments all worked. So I've just made this in our white viscose, plain viscose fabric. It's viscose lawn. It's really nice. It's a bit thicker than our cotton lawn, so it will make the fabric more opaque. And that is all I have to say about this. This is not very exciting, but I thought I would show it to you, and I'll show you the process of how I'm going to attach the lining and everything when I get to that bit. So I will see you back here tomorrow for some more sewing, and we should, with a bit of luck, have a finished dress. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've marked my darts on the front bodice, and I've stay stitched the neckline here, and because I'm lining this I won't have the stability of the interfacing on the facing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this flexible bias iron-on seam tape that we've got, and you can see it's got a tiny line of stitching there. So what I'm going to do to stabilize this, I've already done this in the lining, but I'm going to put this line of stitching just outside of the stitching line. You won't see it because it will be sandwiched in between the lining and the facing, but it'll just add a little bit of stability to the neckline, because as I said, I won't have the support of the facing, because that's how this dress is usually finished. It's got a neckline facing all the way around, and you would interface that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and stitch my darts together. So here is the finished bodice all sewn together. This is obviously the outer shell, and I have my lining here. Oh, hang on. So there you go. That's the lining there, and you can see that I've got the same seam tape on the lining, and I've gone ahead and I've marked in the little point of the V and a little bit of a line on either side, because that just makes it a bit easier when you're coming to that point to know where you have to stop and pivot. And all we're going to do now is put these inside each other like this. Hopefully you can see. Sorry, it's probably not the easiest thing to be showing you. So they're going to go like this, right sides together, and then obviously you'll pin all around here, and then you are just going to stitch all the way around, which is what I'm going to do right now. And then we will trim the seams, undo stitch, flip it the right side out, and then when that's done, this will be obviously on the inside. And then I'm just gonna, I'll show you again, but what I'll do is I will just machine tack around the armholes and the base of the bodice before I attach anything else, because that will just make it easier, and then you have a nice clean finish. And then these will just be, once they're done at the neckline and machine tacked here and at the bottom, they'll just be treated as one piece of fabric when you go and attach your sleeves and your tier here. I've gone and I've pressed all around here up by 1 centimetre, and the reason I've done this is because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stitch, I'm just going to show you, very, very, very close to this edge, folded edge here. And the reason why it's better to fold up by slightly more is just because it makes that edge a bit more stable when you are going to sew so close to it. So ideally you probably want a bit more than 1 centimetre, and if I thought about it, I would maybe have put a bit more onto the edge of the sleeve here, but it will be fine. And then I'm just going to show you another little trick that I learned by watching some sewing videos on YouTube. And what I'm going to do is here, where I folded up my seam allowance across the seam, is I'm going to trim the seam allowance here just to the fold and a little bit close to the stitching, because that will reduce the bulk when you're sewing over here, and it will make it a lot easier to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so that has reduced our bulk here. You're going to be trimming most of this away anyways, it's not going to compromise your seam. And then I'm just going to head over to the machine and stitch as close as I can, as I said, to this edge here. Okay, so you can see that I've stitched really close to the edge there. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to trim as close to the stitch edge as possible. Okay, so hopefully you can see that I have trimmed really close to that stitch line there. And then all we're going to do is on the machine, now you can press this ahead if you would like, but I find it easier just to do this on the machine. You're just going to turn this and then you're going to stitch over your existing stitch line here, and then you'll see you create like a really tiny hem on. Here is your tiny hem. Okay, so here is the finished bodice. We've got our wee sleeves on. We have top stitched the seam allowance to the inside on our sleeve here, and it's looking really good. I'll pull back so you can see a bit better, and I just think that it's going to look really cute. I'm going to do the first tier of the skirt now. So I am moving on to the first tier of the skirt, and before we get to gathering and side seams, I am just putting in pockets. So I've already attached the pockets to the edge here. I decided to put them towards the end of the first tier just because that was a better spot for my arms to reach in. I've left a bit more than 1.5 seam allowance here because obviously we'll be attaching the next tier of the skirt onto here. And I use the free pattern piece from Helen's Closet. They've got a blog on how to put in an inseam pocket. It's dead easy, and I'll pop the link to that in the description box when I post this video so you can go and access that if you want to put pockets in. My mum said that she would not like this dress if it didn't have pockets, so we are putting pockets in. So all I'm going to do now is get my other side of my tier, and I'm going to lay these on top of each other. That's the wrong way around, very clever. So they go like that, and then all you do is obviously pin it in place, and then you stitch around, and then you have a pocket. And then I will show you how I'm going to do the gathering on here, and we'll get started. I have attached my pockets, stitched all the way around, pressed the seams towards the front, and then if we turn this the right way round, we have a pocket. So I'm going to do the gathering stitches around the first tier, and I'll come back and I'll show you how I've spaced them out, and then it's just going to be a lot of gathering from here on out. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done my gathering stitches in a thread that you're not actually going to be able to see on camera, well maybe just about, so well done me for that excellent tutorial. So I'm going to point it at them out to you. So I've done one at 0.5 millimeters in, then another at a centimeter, and then the final one I've done at 2 centimeters. The idea being that my stitch line will sort of kind of sit in the middle of the gathering stitches. And what I found is when I do it this way, it makes the gathers a lot easier to evenly distribute across the fabric. So I just thought I'd show you that before I start pulling all the threads together to gather this fabric in. I have sewn up all the skirt tiers. I've got to put, I'm going to put gathering stitches in these two, but as you can see there is a a lot of fabric together, which is going to be great because the dress is going to have maximum fluff, which is what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's going to take a while, but everything is pretty straightforward from here on out. I have some tea, and I also have my audiobook and some emotional support gathering chocolate to get me through sewing all these tears onto this dress. And I'm just going to do this as an epic gathering montage for you, and I will show you all the tears on the skirt when they're on. So that's me finished with this lovely dress. I hope you enjoyed following along with me making it. I had so much fun myself filming this and making it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really like how the belt brings together the sleeves and the bottom tier. I am going to do a tutorial for you on how I made the belt, just in case any of you are interested. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Helen's Closet have given us a discount code for you all. So the code is LawrenceSunshine, and I believe it gives you 20% off the pattern, but I'll need to double check that. But if I'm wrong, I will correct myself. I will put obviously all the details in the description box below. So I'll put all the links to the fabric, the tutorial from Helen's Closet for the pockets, because it's got a free pocket bag piece in the blog post, which is really useful as well for other projects that don't have pockets in, because let's face it, we all have a pocket, my mum included. So thank you again. I hope you enjoyed it, as I said before, and we will see you very soon with another video. But if there's any other types of videos that you would like to see from us, maybe more sew-alongs or anything you can think of, let us know in the comments as well, because we are happy to bring different kinds of videos to you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.